and welcome to the Fitchburg Cultural Council February meeting. It is Tuesday, February 15th. We're starting the meeting at 5 p.m. We don't seem to have a quorum yet, but we'll carry on until we get to something we need to vote on. The Fitchburg Cultural Council is a volunteer body that's part of the Massachusetts Cultural Council. And the Massachusetts Cultural Council works to elevate our rich cultural life in the state of Massachusetts, partnering across the Commonwealth with organizations to improve education, promote diversity, encourage excellence in the arts, humanities, and sciences, and make our state a better place to live, work, and play. So we will get started this evening. Our panelists here are the Cultural Council on the screen. We welcome the public to speak on any topic that is on our agenda tonight. Especially, we prefer that to do that at the beginning of the meeting. And I don't see any of the public here in the room with us. Do we have any public?
Francisco.
We need to let him in.
He is attending. I can promote him to panelists.
Yeah, great.
Excellent.
Perfect. Okay, so a couple housekeeping reminders for tonight's meeting. Since we're on Zoom, we are being recorded and this is being filmed. So anything we say is available to the public to hear. So it's good to keep in mind our camera view and also what we say, that it's going to be recorded forever. Good thing to remember. Tonight we have a couple of things to review on our agenda, but since we have Francisco with us, and we're very happy to have him with us tonight, we're going to move quickly to the Creative Cities Grant agenda item, and we'll get that first so Francisco can speak, and if he'd like to leave, he's welcome to, or welcome to stay. So we'll move right to that agenda item. Francisco, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. Do you want me to just take over from here tomorrow?
Yeah, feel free.
Awesome.
Hear how we can help you.
Great. Great to see so many. Hi, Casey. Casey and I just became connected on LinkedIn, which is great. Thanks for that invitation, Casey. And great to see so many familiar faces. As you know, we've been working on, we being TDI, the TDI partnership has been working on a couple different initiatives in downtown and working with downtown businesses, in particular focusing on how the arts can help stimulate economic development. And Mass Development, the agency that I work for, just came out with a new program called Creative Cities last year. And we tested that program in the city of New Bedford. And the idea is to support the arts infrastructure within a city that makes it so special and unique, and continue to support that so that we can stimulate additional economic development. And thanks to the help from the Bar Foundation, financial support from the Bar Foundation, we got the opportunity to expand that program in New Bedford to 3 new cities in the Commonwealth. The only thing is there's a couple caveats. One of them is that you have to be a gateway city, which Fitchburg is. And you also have to be a graduated district, which starting in June is going to be sort of the end of my time in Fitchburg based on our TDI designation. But that does mean that we do qualify for this grant opportunity, which is great. And so the program itself is a quite significant amount of investment to support arts and culture related activities, something around $500,000 for 2 years. The amounts per year vary, but they all sort of geared and focused on supporting arts, events that support culture and stimulate economic development. So traditional to Mass Development, we of course put out the program. We launched it and we invited 6 graduating districts to apply, and Fitchburg has been acknowledged as one of the 6. Of the 6, we're looking to award 3. So I feel like we have a pretty good shot of hopefully becoming an awardee. And the thing is, the timeline is really quick. And so we launched the program or sent out the invitations about a month or so ago. I wouldn't say less than a month or so. And the application's due on the 23rd of this month. So I apologize for not, giving you guys more warning, but we couldn't really talk about it until it was a formal announcement. So I'm here today to sort of ask for the Cultural Council's support in pursuing the application. What we're looking to do, the last 4 years of TDI have been really business focused, and how are the ways in which we can support our local businesses and the businesses in Fitchburg. And this is going to sort of shift a little bit to support arts and artists and the arts infrastructure. And we still want to make a connection to our business community and those on Main Street, but we do want to support those artists. And so one of the things we're looking to do is to expand the TDI partnership and include more artists and arts organizations like the Cultural Council on that. So what I'm here today is to ask if it's not really a big ask, but to ask if the partnership is, or the Cultural Council would be interested in sitting as a partner on that board of directors that we'd form if we were awarded. That would mean attend regular meetings, help make decisions that would support the arts infrastructure, and how we would sort of decide how to pass out this money that we get from mass development if we are awarded. That's sort of our basic commitment. And then ask for also a letter of support from the Cultural Council for this application that's due next week. I'm happy to sort of take questions and sort of work through that if you guys all have questions. Yeah, Tamar. And I see Liz's hand raised too. I'm sorry, Liz.
So I guess my first question is, you said that should Fitchburg get this, win this award, there would be a process of meetings and things, I guess, to get the ball rolling, to spend those, to use the funds. So could you describe a little more what that might entail?
Yeah, so the grant itself is very focused on what sort of outcomes we'd like to see. One of those things is supporting leadership development for artists and others in the community. So we would have to come up with a program that would facilitate that. Fortunately, we have great programs already through the Chamber of Commerce RLI Institute, through the stewards program with the university, the art stewards and the community stewards through NewView. So we have some systems in place to support leadership development. And another portion of that is to sort of create a series or one event or a series of events that would attract people to the area. So helping to decide what that event might be. We got some great ideas. We had a really quick meeting or really quickly organized meeting of some stakeholders, and people threw out ideas. Well, that's great, but we need to figure out who's going to decide which event we choose to do and what that looks like. It's significant money. It's about $75,000 for either one event, or if we wanted to do a series of events, we could spread those $75,000 across a series of events. So generally, though, it would be asking somebody from the Cultural Council to attend monthly meetings and make sure that they're dedicated to that, to make sure we have the decisions that need to be made. Does that answer your question, Tamar?
Yeah, so the funds, yeah, so the first part was like the job of, by asking us, would be to attend those meetings, take part in the planning of any events, the leadership development, and any trainings that you would have. So we would be part of helping that get going.
Yeah, the facilitation of it. We do, one of the other components of the grant is to support staff to sort of take our ideas and fly and run with them. So there will be staff to support this position and the events and the leadership development. So it's not like we're asking you all to do it all. We would ask you just to sort of be the brain trust behind it. And if you wanted to volunteer for a certain event, that that's always open for that too.
Okay.
Liz, did you have a
I'm
question?
sorry, I got into this a little late. Someone has written the grant or is working on the grant now. Yes?
Yeah, the grant is we're currently working on writing that. The city, being the invitee to apply, has asked the art museum to lead the charge, given that it's an arts culture focused grant, and I'm supporting the writing of that, given my knowledge of what we're sort of looking for within Mass Development Agency. And then we're also working with, so far, NewView Communities to help us with that writing. Yep.
Okay, so all you're asking for us is whether we would like to be part of this, have a member on the council, and send a support letter saying that we highly support that. That's what you're asking of us, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea. I make a motion, we do it.
Liz, did you want to ask a question? Sorry, I don't know.
I just wanted to ask if you could let everybody know who's currently on that TDI team that you expect to be staying on as part of that leadership group.
Yeah, so far on the TDI partnership, we have the city of Fitchburg as sort of the lead, but not sort of, they are the lead partner. And then we have the Art Museum, the university is one of our partners, Nuvia Communities, Chamber of Commerce, and then we have a couple private stakeholders. Matt Fournier, who owns Elite Construction and Design, is a partner. Trisha Pistoni, who was formerly with Montechusett Opportunity Council, but now is with the Clinton Hospital, is one of our partners, given her foundational knowledge of everything Fitchburg. And we also have Megan Donahue from the FRA and Mary Jo Bohart from the Economic Development Committee. And then, so because it's a shift of moving from away from business and towards arts and culture, I think we're still discussing who would stay, but I think the core group sort of would stay there, the art museum, the institutional groups, the institutional players. But I think that's all still to be decided.
Point of order, Madam
Yep.
Chair, we have a motion on the table.
We do. Yeah, we do. Eileen made a motion that we accept this request from us for support and for a letter of recommendation that would go to Francisco before the 23rd. Anybody want to make a second motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, that was a Shara Audrey combo, so I'll go with Shara.
Go with Sharon.
Anybody else want to speak to the motion? All in favor? Can we do roll call, please?
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Casey, no problem. Casey,
Yes.
Liz,
Yes.
Claudia? I think that was yes. You're muted. Audrey,
Yes.
Jesse,
Yes.
Shara,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes.
Sam,
Yes.
and Tamar.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Francisco.
Thanks,
That's
Francisco.
great. So who should I work with in terms of getting a letter or, okay, great. I'll reach out to you, Tamar, and I really appreciate the support given the short notice from everybody at the Cultural Council and everyone's continued support on everything we started to do downtown. So
And you need it before the 23rd, is that right?
I do,
That's
yeah.
when everything has to go in.
Yep.
Okay. February 23rd, that's quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to make a motion to vote on pre-approving Tamar's letter. I
That's a
make a
good call.
motion to pre-approve Tamar's letter of support.
I second it.
All right. Anyone want to speak to the motion? Audrey made the motion to approve a letter. Eileen made a second. Anyone want to speak to that? I'll probably have Matt copy edit. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I think the motion carries. Sam, you agree? Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll do it for you, Francisco. We'll get it done.
You're
I
the
hope we
best.
get this.
Thanks
I
so
hope we
much.
get it. It would be awesome to get, wouldn't it?
It'd be
Would
really
be.
great. Yeah.
And Francisco, that means you would stay with us longer, right?
I won't say, no comment.
I'll have to say Francisco has been a fantastic member of the community, and all of his work has been super vital.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like you may have other plans, though. You have other plans,
I-
Francisco?
Not yet, no.
But we hope you come visit us but if you do decide to leave, we hope you visit
Yes.
us here at the
Thank
But also
council.
don't leave.
No.
Don't leave.
Great, thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you,
too.
Francisco.
Thanks, Francisco.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, so we'll move back up the agenda I just wanted to go to the announcements section really quickly. Something came through that I thought might be of interest, and I think we all got it, but I wanted to make sure. So Sam, to put you on the spot, Sally Criggan had sent around an invitation to your open studio in the summer, and I just wanted to let everyone know as a way of announcement that that's something that Sam will be doing. So Sam, do you mind if I give the details?
Yes.
Oh, you want-
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
I met with yesterday, and I don't have much. Yes, I don't have much detail yet, but I'm working on it. she gave me a great idea to do this open house. And this is something I was dreaming about. And since I moved in Fitchburg, and I don't know what's going on, and I stopped thinking about it. But when she brought the idea yesterday, I said, "Wow!"
Mm.
And this is like she's taking lightning. This is great. Yeah, we plan to do it on June 24th or 25th, something like that. I don't have too much detail in my hand now, but once I get everything ready, I will bring it just so everybody can just have an idea, like proper idea about it.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful, Sam. So I thought Sally is a great promoter of the arts here. So it was nice that she shared it
Yeah.
with us, and I thought it'd be nice to just share it with everybody on the council.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Tamara. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're
it. Thank
welcome.
you.
I'm sure you'll give us details later.
I will.
Okay.
Congratulations, Sam.
Yeah,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we'll move into the grantees section. I wanted to see if there's any updates, if we have any correspondence we want to discuss that had to do with the grants. Eileen, how's it going?
I've got about 9 letters in that I'm going to try to deliver to Joan tomorrow. Their culmination, their W-9s. I got to call, as I say, I'm kind of been teaching myself this as I go along. Akla's given me a bit of a problem. She doesn't want to send in a W-9. She says she doesn't have to because she's working for Monty Tech and they're a nonprofit. I'm not sure. I asked the MCC and they thought that Monty Tech still has to send in a W-9. Joe, do you know anything about that?
So I would say that both parties are already registered in the city as vendors, so neither would need to submit a W-9.
It's the vendor status, right? It's not the profit or non-profit status. That's what
Yeah,
I
correct.
thought
It's
too.
just so that they know who to route the tax bill to, basically.
Okay, well, I'll
when
get
they
back
file
to
the grant
Akla.
money. And I know that both of them, this is a repeat grant. I'm assuming it's the Blacksmith Festival, right? Because
Mhm.
Monty Tech's involved in that with her.
Okay,
yeah.
otherwise everything seems to be going smoothly with
Yep.
with this year. This is the first year I've had a chance to start from the beginning with a grant class. And so I can organize it the way I think it ought to be organized. I'm feeling much better about it.
Excellent. Thank you, Eileen. Okay, so we'll move on then to our treasurer's report. Liz made us a really wonderful chart that we sent around. So we'll move to you for that, Liz. Give us a little update on the treasury.
First, I unmute myself. So I looked at our accounts and our balances, and at the moment, what I presented was transactions from December 31st through the end of January, and then January 31st through the end of, no, I'm sorry. Just December 1st through December 31st, and then January 1 through January 31st. So the short of it all is that we have $1,559.97 in our local account. That includes $500 of scholarship funds. We have $10,944.69 in the FY21 grant account, and they have booked the $48,400 for the FY22 account. So we have a combined total of $60,904.66. This is actual cash. It doesn't reflect obligations. So my goal for next month is to then go back to Eileen's documents where she has some grants that haven't been dispersed yet, but are in process in some way, like they still intend to use the money, and then have another column where we'll see this money is reserved. So what's actually free to do anything with will be shown. It's not really free, but not committed. Hopefully I'll be able to pull that together for next month, and we'll see.
Liz, Liz, I'm going to begin contacting the people who have until June 30th to finish up and see where they are. So I'll keep you abreast of what's going on there.
Sure, thank you.
It's exciting.
Um,
Thank you, Liz, for your hard work on this.
Just a note to Eileen and Liz, in the drive, there's a treasurer's folder. You two are welcome to use that as you will. That's for you.
This document is in there. I put it in there, so
Excellent.
thank you. It's actually very handy to have those documents there. I will refer back to the old document.
Mm.
So the next thing that's part of this treasury conversation is something Liz had asked me to put on the agenda before. This has to do with the events and us taking funds. It's a kind of a big question.
I have an update on that.
Okay, great. I'll take it. Let's have it.
I talked to the treasurer's office and they talked to our credit vendor that allows the city to take credit cards, and we can take credit cards. They're going to set it up if we wish to take credit cards for donations. So there will be basically what we can do is we can have a link on our Fitchburg Cultural Council page. Like, you know, if you want to take a donation, click the link, it'll take you to the right page, or they can go in through the payment center, you know, but they're going to have to use our web page to make a donation. And the vendor does charge a fee. So we would need to decide, is it like a donation amount plus that fee, or is the fee reducing the donation?
Mhm. And then I have another.
How are we planning to ask for donations? Are we going to do this at these events? Some of these organizations actually ask for donations themselves at the events. So I was just wondering how we were going to broach this.
I don't think we had a plan. I think we were originally talking about if we wanted to sell something, for example, at one of the events, or we wanted to,
Do a registration fee.
yeah,
Right, registration fees, any kind of, I mean, if we're having an event, it would be nice to be able to put something out and say, you know, we can take donations. But we don't have to do that. But yeah, like for future vendor fees, for if we're charging for open studios, all those sorts of activities, now we could use this tool.
that's my question,
Okay.
Liz.
That's awesome.
Because I'd like to, this is for an agenda item further down, but for open studios, for example, last year it was checks or money orders. People would take them to the Boulder Gallery. They end up at City Hall. She would cash them. We kept track of them that way, actually, who had paid and who hadn't. So would you suggest then, if this was possible, then that the open studio fees could be paid online directly through that link as well?
Exactly, yes. What we'll just have to be clear about is those funds all need to go into the local account
Mhm.
so that they don't get mingled in with our grant accounts.
Tamara, did you charge vendors fees at the last FOS? I thought everybody was free.
No, they paid.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, I know that's pretty standard.
Yeah,
okay.
FOS has always been paid. It's only been a council project for 1 year, but before that, it was always, there was a fee, and the fee was to help
Okay.
support marketing materials, like any
Yeah.
printing and signs and.
The
So
Winter
how-
Bazaar was without a fee, but I think
Right.
you had talked about charging a fee next year if we do it again.
So
Okay,
how
so-
quickly, Liz, could that be set up for us?
The treasurer's office is working with the vendor now, but I think, you know, is this something that we need to take a vote on and then kind of give her the okay? I don't think it would take a month even to get this sorted. But I'm sort of beholden to the treasurer's timeline.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to approve getting a donation link set up on our website.
so we have a motion from Audrey to get a link for payments on our website. Anyone want-
Second, I'll second that.
Was that a Casey?
Yes.
So we had Audrey and then Casey. Anyone want to speak to the motion? All in favor? Should we do roll call, Joe?
I'd like to speak to the motion. if I
Yes.
could.
Okay.
I don't know if Audrey is open to this or not, but I would like to request that you modify your motion to allow us to accept payments from the city's website versus
Yes.
our website, so that we're not pigeonholing into, we can only do it in one place. So we can then advertise that website and all our social media platforms and other advertising areas and send them direct to that one payment location.
I would like to modify my motion to making a motion to set up a payment link for the Cultural Council to be used in various places or
Perfect.
sent to in various places.
Second,
Okay, so we have a motion from Audrey to set up a payment link that could be used in various locations. And a second from Casey. Let's do roll call on this one. Could you help us, Joe?
Sure thing. Casey,
Sorry, yes.
Liz,
Yes.
Claudia,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jesse,
Yes.
Shara,
Yes.
Eileen,
yes.
Sam,
Yes.
and Tamar.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you,
That's
Liz.
fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Liz, would we be able to set that up with Venmo? Like if we were to do like in-person donations, or would we just have to have like a tablet on hand for in-person?
I don't think that the city would be okay with, so it'll be like one of the city's bank accounts that these transactions dump into. And I don't know that they would be okay with us using Venmo. I can ask. But that would be separate from the credit card vendor. I think Venmo might behave differently depending on what kind of business you are. So I don't know if there would be charges to the city for that. I'll ask, but I'm not confident that that's an option because I think I might have asked before. And that's why I started shifting to other things.
Well, we
So,
could always just take cash or check in person for if we were doing
Yeah.
donations for whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we have a tablet, we need to, if we had a tablet, I mean, honestly, our webpage works okay on people's phones. So if they wanted to use their phone to make a donation, they just gotta go to the website, click on Payment Center, and then it's like a drop down. I think it's gonna be a drop down menu, like, what do you want to pay? So you could choose like your taxes or your water bill. And it could be a
Okay.
donation to Fitchburg Cultural
Yeah,
Council.
and the merchant processors usually have a way where it can work with other platforms. So if we had a question, we want to put this in X, Y, or Z, they probably would have an answer. Is it through the bank or is it through some other?
It's not the bank,
Company.
it's a company that I could,
Is that through Kelly Ryan?
it's Kelly Ryan, yeah.
Okay,
Well, actually, it's called City Hall Systems, but it looks like there's a Kelly Ryan connection there too somehow.
well, that's great news. That'll help us definitely get some things done,
Yeah, I
right?
hope so. We could-
Um,
The more money we bring in, the more things we could do, right?
Yeah.
Or give back out.
Yeah, so on the topic of the events, when we get there, I have one more, well, I guess I can kind of jump to that agenda item. I wanted to open up Open Studios registrations in March. So that's why I was asking how quickly it could be set up. So instead of waiting until April to open up registrations, so people have an extra month. So maybe I wanted to get a vote on that, actually, if you guys wouldn't mind, if maybe we wait until March 15th, so we have time to get this figured out. But I'd like to get a vote on the table for taking registrations soon to get started with Open Studios for next year.
You want March
I have a
15th?
Mhm.
Go
I have a
ahead.
question. Maybe we were talking about having another, I guess, artist show in May around Mother's Day. is this going to become confusing? Will we be doing will we be doing the recruiting for both at the same time? Just questioning.
I think the
Yes.
artist show that we were talking about was going to be another bazaar. So that'll be registering to sell their art products. And this will be for Fitchburg Open Studios. I mean, I guess it could be confusing having two different registrations going on at the same time, but I think it sort of needs to happen this way though, right? Because
Yeah.
last year, I think the hard deadline was June. So that would
I
be
help-
kind of a short notice.
I know Tamar will be, I think, the head of the FOS. Who's going to be the lead on the May Bazaar?
Not that we want to put pressure on Liz, but it was her roster of artists that were invited. Obviously, we kind of invited everyone, but it's a slightly different group. That's what's interesting. So the Open Studios tends to be like fine artists, painters, not so much sculptors or people makers, craft,
Artisans.
2D artisan work, whereas the Open Studios tends to be, although last year we had musicians involved, which was super fun, but it tends to be 2D fine artists. It's a different crowd. So I don't think it'll be too confusing. And quite frankly, giving our community like two options is like, the more options they get, the better for places to show and people to come visit and see their work and sell things. So
So you don't expect the same people to sign up for both?
some will.
There'll be
Right.
some crossover.
Okay.
I would
And
And you
hope
don't
that
see a
both
need
would-
you don't see a need for someone to head up the other bazaar, to do the planning, to head the planning for it and all of that? No?
I think
thought.
I would be doing that unless folks didn't want that. I mean, I would be looking for help, but I could take that lead unless folks don't want that.
Yeah, we were
Okay.
hoping you would, Liz. We are here to help.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest Liz, Shara, Tamar, since the three of you led the way for the Winter Bazaar.
So could I get a
Okay.
vote? Could I get a vote then? Could somebody make a motion for the March 15th so I can get started on that project?
I'll make a
we-
motion and open up the applications for the Fitchburg Open Studios on March 15th.
I'll second that.
Anybody speaking to the motion? That was a first from
Yes.
Claudia and a second from Shara, or first from
Oh,
Shara,
the
second
other way.
from Claudia.
Sec-
Go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, I remember we had touched on the idea of could we have or work with businesses perhaps and have some open studios on Main Street, like as pop-ups? And do we kind of need to have that sorted out before we open registration? Or is that something that we can kind of figure out between now and the 15th? Or do we not want to do that?
So last year in the application, there was like if they have an address where they want to be at their house, for example. The museum usually gives us a couple spaces, so hopefully they will again this year, hopefully, Jesse. So we have like these things in place already. A couple of the churches gave us space. So usually what we would do is fill up that space, and then if we needed more. So if we are saying, would you want it, we could give them an option. Do you want to be on Main Street, or do you want to be at a location that we give you as an option? And usually that part of the application, we kind of dealt with later because most people had somewhere to be. So
So this
Okay,
year,
that's
we're gonna arrange it for them, right? Because I feel like in previous years, it's been like, well, you contact them if you want to pop up there. But we're gonna
Yeah.
arrange it for them, right?
yeah,
I think that's good. I think that's less confusing for them.
yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
that makes it more
Yeah, that makes
cohesive,
sense.
where we
Right.
know where people are going to be, and we can make it more contained. Like one of the things I got for feedback from some of the artists was that it was hard to feel like completely disconnected, like if you were an artist and you had your pop-up studio, you didn't see anybody except the people that came into your space. So having collective spaces, like I know that the Caucus for Women Artists were all at the Rollstone Church. And having a few more collective spaces, I think, is a really nice way to do it and build community.
Mhm.
And I know some people even wanted to be like outdoors on Mill Street and have their pop-ups there. So ways that we
Which-
can make it like a tour and where more things are happening downtown or close to downtown.
Yeah,
that
I
we-
think we can encourage that this year. I can adjust the application then. And just maybe, yeah, I'll pass it by you, Audrey, and you can see what you think. We could definitely adjust it a little bit.
We
And
can talk
kinda say-
about the March PR meeting.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
I feel like Jesse wanted to say something.
Oh, Jesse, hi, I didn't see your hand. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So I don't know if this is gonna affect anything, and I saw Ashla this weekend, and she seemed to indicate that she might be rescheduling the Blacksmith Festival.
Oh,
So I just don't know if that conversation needs to happen before we make, if we want to go ahead with the same dates. I'm actually having a programming meeting tomorrow, so I can confirm what's on the museum schedule and get back to you by the end of the day tomorrow. But just wanted to throw that wrench in the plans that the Blacksmith Festival might change its schedule.
whoa, that's
I
a
don't feel like,
first.
yeah, I don't feel like it's a wrench because we already voted the dates in. I'd like to just stick with them. And also it's for marketing going to be easier. I don't know if this was Peter Capadagli's idea or whose idea it was, but if we say the last weekend in September, then we don't have to keep redoing the signage every year, which is a cost. So, because every artist gets their own signage to help with marketing. So it would be easier if we just, I was talking to someone today about one of the New Hampshire like foliage art tours. They stick with the same weekend every year and it keeps it, it's just Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter the dates, you know, so that's what I was kind of hoping we could get to a place where we have this steady
Right.
date that's always the same. Yeah. So people
Just-
know.
I
Jesse,
like
do you
that.
know when they're changing the date for?
I think she was just pushing it back a week, but I don't want to say publicly. I think I just know that it was it could change. That's all I want to confirm. But because I know she'll have to submit something as a recipient to make that official.
Okay. All right. So we had I'm not sure we voted on it. I think if there's any other comments. So Shara made a motion to accept the registration opening March 15th and Claudia made a second motion. Is any other comments or questions or could we do a vote?
Do we want to vote on the deadline as well? Like include it
Sure.
in this? What is the proposed deadline, Tamar?
I'd like to do July 1,
July 1st? And then is there going to be an early deadline?
June 15.
June 15th. I would like to propose June 1st is the early deadline.
Okay, fair. All right.
When you
So-
say early deadline, is that like, is there a price difference between those
Yeah.
two or, okay.
Yes. Okay, so would any, let's see, who made it was Shara. Shara, would you like to adjust your,
I will adjust the
motion?
motion to motion that we start the applications for the open studios on March 1st with the early bird deadline being June 1st and the final deadline being July 1st.
so March 15th, yeah, and then June 1.
Oh, March 15th, I'm sorry.
No worries. And then July 1. Okay. Thank you. So we have that motion on the table.
And I should second that.
Thank you, Claudia. Let's do a quick roll call.
Hey, Casey,
I mean, it's the symbolism of it, like, remember? We're the
Liz?
boys.
Yes.
Claudia,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jesse,
Yes.
Shara,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Sam,
Yes.
and Tamar.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you. I get the green light to go. All right. So the next thing I wanted to see about Liz and everybody Can we vote on the spring bazaar date? Can we do that tonight? Can we get that on the table?
I would make a motion to, subject to the mayor's approval of using City Hall, have the spring bazaar on Saturday, May 7th.
Saturday, May 7th.
Can I speak to that motion?
Do we need a second before?
We need a second.
A second.
Oh.
So Liz made a motion to have the spring bazaar pending the mayor's approval on May 7th at City Hall, and Eileen made a second. So yes, Shara.
So I'm not against it being on May 7th, but I think that it might be nice to do it May 8th because it's Mother's Day. That it's, I don't know, maybe I'm backtracking because actually doing it before Mother's Day, people can come and get Mother's Day gifts.
We'll get the
But
last minute
it
shoppers.
is, yeah. but it's also-
Teenagers. We like teenagers.
My feeling on that is a lot of families get together on Mother's Day for lunches at grandma's house or something like that. So I was proposing anywhere earlier that we do it the Saturday before. That way, if it's a good opportunity for people to pick up presents from mother that you might want to bring to the family thing. People go to church on Mother's Day. It's just Mother's Day is kind of taken, I would
Right.
say.
Eileen, I agree with that.
What about May 1st, Sunday? That way we'll give them like you know, it'll be a week before Mother's Day, but it'll still be during
So-
Art Week.
Well, that's also Arts in Bloom.
And it was just
Yeah.
say Art and Bloom weekend.
Yeah.
So
I want. We
Liz?
can obviously have some overlap in activities on Art Week, but it feels like Art and Bloom should take center stage, almost to kick off Art Week. So I would hope to not have it that weekend.
Yeah, I do actually agree after a conversation that May 7th is probably the best plan.
Okay. So we have a first motion from Liz for May 7th, a second from Eileen. Let's do a roll call and get this date locked in.
Casey,
Yes.
Liz,
Yes.
Claudia,
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jesse,
yes,
Shara,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Sam,
Yes.
Tamar.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Joe. All right, are there any other dates that we should discuss while we're on the spring summer event list? We can always do this next month too, but I wanted to get some of these dates at least nailed down. Anything else? we should
calendar
discuss?
going. huh?
That Eileen, the creative meet and greet.
I haven't, we're gonna have a creative meet and greet in March. I have plenty, I just haven't been able to get there today, but we will have it.
Well,
I
we
mean,
have
yeah, it
to,
takes-
we'll have to be able to vote on it before promoting it. So should we push that to April then?
Okay, we can do that.
And then we can get the date nailed down maybe at the next meeting then.
Okay, I will have it
And-
nailed down at the next meeting.
That way we have time to get location and everything sorted. Okay, so that.
Well, I was
is-
saying it was gonna be at the River Styx and I'm, I don't think that's gonna be a problem because we talked about it last fall.
Okay,
But if it is, I'll let you know.
all right, so we'll have that for tentative for next month's agenda then.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so making a note. All right, so that,
Oh.
Joe, sorry.
So, since we're on the topic of events and things, do we want to take a few minutes to nail down a public input meeting? Just like summer in August sometime.
Yeah, do we want to, so I had proposed to the PR subcommittee a grantee showcase in conjunction with the public input meeting as opposed to the grantee reception. The difference is that it would be more of a festival field. Each grantee could get their own booth or table. It could be a big spread out event. I know FAM was mentioned as a potential suggestion for where it could be, but I feel like that FAM might be a little bit small for it. I would think, and like the Upper Commons or Something like that might be nice. And like ask Reimagine North and Main to use their event tent or something like that. But so that it's kind of like how FSU has their club block party or Rock the Block. What's that called?
Yeah,
the block.
rock the
Rock the
block.
block.
Yeah, so each organization could have their own table. They could talk about the FCC funded program and event, as well as all their other things that they're doing, so that the public, you know, sees that there's a festival going on, stops by, learns about all the things that are going on here, and learns more about these organizations. So it's really highlighting them. We could have a stage and have speakers like we did before. And then we could also do the public input meeting from there and like set up chairs so that people could like talk a little bit more conducively.
So what is the date for this?
We haven't proposed one yet.
Did we want
This
to
is going to
do
be
this during
outside?
our,
This is going to be outside?
That's, I mean, I think that like, you know, we have a lot of, I think what, like 70 grantees. Obviously not everyone's going to say yes, not everyone's going to come. But, you know.
Could we come back to this next month and maybe there might be another possibility that can't be talked about right now?
so.
I guess I
and
still
before-
favor, I'm sorry, Jesse.
No, it's okay.
I was gonna say, I still favor going back to the FAM and having a redo of the meeting that we had in 2019 before the, I really liked that. I think there was a lot of discussion that got going. A lot of people met one another. It was a beautiful place. We were out of the bugs and it was air conditioned. You know, so I really favor that. When I think about a bunch of people with a bunch of tables pushing their own stuff, I don't see a lot of trade going on there. And what I thought was so great with the input meeting was that people actually got to talk with one another. Just my point.
Okay, so we have a lot going on here. Joe?
I thought Liz was gonna say
I just want to make a suggestion that
Yeah.
it seems there's more debate and discussion that needs to go on this particular topic. And perhaps it would be a good agenda item to put on a public relations subcommittee meeting
I'm sorry.
that committee can present at our next council meeting with their discussions, with some good specific details and recommendations that we can then debate and discuss. At our
So
next meeting.
one thing to mention here is that if I apply for this festival grant on behalf of this, I have to do that by March 1st.
And
And I need a date. And I was going to say, do we want this to be a part of Art Week? Which is the 1st through the 10th. There's a lot going on. It would be great if we could get it in there, but I also understand if you don't want to. But so for the festival grant, the event has to be at least 4 hours long. If it's a part of a week of festivals, we'd probably make it shorter, but if it's just a standalone event that we're applying for, it would need to be at least 4 hours.
Well,
And we have to know I have to be able to say what we're spending the money on.
Yeah.
So like paying the vendors a stipend to be there would be acceptable. Paying for things like a stage, that sort of stuff would be acceptable. So there are a lot of things that aren't eligible, like if we closed off the road, we couldn't pay the police detail. It's got to have that arts connection.
Liz, when does the event have to fall within? What are the dates it has to fall within?
It has to be by June 30th.
Okay, so just to speed up this conversation, I guess, Jesse, is there any possibility that the art museum could be used one of the evenings or one of the afternoons during that week? It's a
Of
week
June 30th?
between,
Before.
So after Art and Bloom, in Art Week.
May or
So,
June.
By the 10th.
so the regional show is a lot more complicated this year because we have the Big Book of Peace coming in. So basically, it means half the museum is going to be closed from the last week of May until the last week of June. So if you want to do something in June, unless you did it that last week of June, it would have to be outside. I can look at the May calendar, but
Could we do something the last week of June and then we can apply for this grant for this event?
let me check. Yes.
So
But I like I said, we have a programming meeting tomorrow, and we'll see how that looks. Yeah.
So Jesse, Liz, because the grant deadline is really soon, could we, so like Saturday, the 25th of June?
I would
that be
not. That
usually you
actually,
would
that's
know?
going to be the first day the regional show is open.
Okay.
and
So
it's the Brewers
that-
Festival.
Yeah.
It's like the beginning of Civic Days then too. So now we're getting into,
So can we not apply
don't-
for this grant because we don't have enough time?
we could certainly not apply. If that was the case, do you know what I would probably do is encourage the organizers of Juneteenth to apply.
I was going to ask Liz, is there anyone else you can encourage to apply to this grant?
Yeah.
And is it fair to assume that there will be more grants?
Yes, they're changing from, so this is the last time that you'll have to like spend the money or have the event by June 30th. Then they're moving into an annual thing. So that will come out that application will come out after June 30th. And we'll start to go, I think, calendar year, like 4 calendar year events, I think. So, we could apply for open studios in the future. We could apply for something else for a following year.
So can I ask another question, Joe? And I know we're cutting on time here. Could we use another location, pick a date tonight and apply for it, even though our details are a little, we'd have to,
For what?
for Liz to apply for this grant by March 1st? If the museum has a lot going on during that time period, would it make sense to use another location, use the common and do something on our own?
So what I can suggest, and I don't think that we'll be able to do a vote on this tonight personally. But if the grant application requires specifics on date and location, and we don't have that, then we wouldn't qualify for the grant. That said, though, it can't hurt to place a call to Mass Cultural Council to see if tentative date and place can go on the application subject to change. I don't know if they'll accept that.
Would
I
it
can
be
certainly
easier
try.
if right now we just made we just did a vote right now on whether or not we want to do a grantee showcase type event? Because if we don't and we just do a public input meeting like at FAM, it won't really be a festival. So it won't really be relevant to the festival grants anyway. So
Yeah.
should we just vote on whether or not we think that's a good idea, or we should just, not?
Well, we can always move dates around later. Like, I think do we want to apply for this grant or not? We had voted to apply for it, but last time.
Right.
So,
But unless we have another festival idea, I think that's the only festival type idea that we would have that is relevant to the application.
which I think could work, but it sounds like date, location are a problem tonight. So what do? We pass.
Yeah, I think passing on it will come up again next year.
Yeah,
They always
fair.
do.
Well,
So,
was there something on the table about going to the Juneteenth people
Mhm.
and seeing if they wanted to get the money for the festival? Now that's a festival.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we don't need to do a vote for
Vote
that.
on
If
that.
anyone
Right,
knows
that's
who
on them.
organized
Yeah.
the Juneteenth, we could just,
I'll-
one of us could just call them.
Yeah,
and let them know that there's
I'll
a
reach out.
opportunity there.
I
Okay,
can reach out.
I
and
think
since
I
have the
think that's a good
information.
idea.
Is Melanie running it again this year? Do you know, Liz?
I don't know, but I do.
Monica Kuykendall is the name on the,
Melanie, yeah. So
Melanie.
Melanie, I'm
Kuykendall.
sorry, Melanie
But
Kuykendall.
Okay,
I know Danette Day and David Tebow Munoz are both very engaged in the park and those activities. And there's a lot of things that are they're trying to make culminate for
Yep.
June 19th. So I think we can get the info to them pretty.
Yeah, I
easily.
think there are 2 Juneteenth events going on. There's gonna be at the Abolitionist Park. Well, they'll be doing something, but then the Hope Center, which is, I think, the Hope Church or something like that, has their, I think it's an annual festival. Obviously, it
Yeah.
skipped during a pandemic. And
Right.
I think that happens at Riverfront Park.
yep.
Oh,
and
see, I
that-
assumed that it merged all to the Abolitionist Park. I probably shouldn't have made.
The Juneteenth festival that is run by Melanie would qualify for the festival's grant. I don't know whether they would get the award, but they would definitely qualify because they've already had 1 year of the festival. So Abolitionist Park hasn't had a festival yet. So if they're doing their own separate festival on Juneteenth, they wouldn't meet the qualifications for the grant until next year.
Can I?
Cheryl, were you gonna say something?
Yes, I just wanted to say that it's wonderful that there's so much activity and so many things that are being planned, and we do not have to do all of the things. Like,
Yep.
we can pass on that this year because, just trying to have even 4 or 5 events during Art Week is a lot, and we are still pulling from a lot of the same resources. And I know some of you might have been in the room for my thing about the basketball court mural project, but we pushed that back to July because there were so many things going on. And Tom Skwarowski basically said that there was nothing happening after 4th of July. So we decided July 23rd, where it's in that part of summer where the days are really long and we could have a little more time to get engagement. And if any of you are interested, I know I've talked to a few of you, but any of you who are interested in being on the committee to get that going, please just shoot me an email.
All
There's
right,
lots to
guys.
be done.
All right, so I'll make a motion to pass on the grant, on the festival grant application this year.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Anybody else speak into the motion? Audrey made a motion to pass on the festival grant that Liz was going to apply for us. And who made the second?
Liz.
Liz. Anyone else speaking to the motion? Otherwise, we'll take a roll call vote.
Liz?
Aye.
Claudia?
Aye.
Audrey?
Yes.
Jesse?
Yes.
Shara?
Yes.
Eileen?
Hi,
Sam?
Yeah.
Casey?
Yep.
And Tamar?
Yes,
Motion carried.
we're passing. Hope somebody else gets it. I'm sure they will. All right, really quickly, because we're coming up on 6 o'clock. I put new members on here just as a reminder that we need to all think of inviting people to join the council. We had a couple reach out through email. Audrey took care of one person. We had someone from the Winter Bazaar. I have yet to hear from them. So just if everyone could either reach out to Audrey or I, if somebody's interested, we'd be happy to talk to them, but keep that in your heads. Also, the bylaws, Casey's working on those. Those weren't ready tonight, so we were going to pass on this agenda item anyway. However, she has a couple of things that she's going to reach out to some of you individually to talk about because we need a little clarification on job descriptions.
If I may,
Excuse me?
sorry, if I may just cut in for a second.
Yeah, quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, so the alterations are in there. It's in the bylaws folder, I believe is what it actually is. Audrey or Tamar, if you guys know what specifically that folder is, or I can just email the group about it, but they're good. They're ready to go to be looked over. So we can vote on them next time.
All right, well, Audrey and I will have a look and we'll get back to everybody on that before we send them out to the group.
Excellent.
Thank you. The last thing, there's two more things. I don't know if everybody had a chance to review the minutes. I sent them at like midnight last night. They're from the last like two PR meetings and two couple of meetings. So if everyone's prepared to make a motion to approve those so we can file them, I will take a motion. And if not, we can pass that to next month.
So moved. I move that we approve all 4 minutes.
Eileen made a first motion to approve all previous minutes, and these are all 2022 minutes. Anyone want a second?
A second.
That was Liz, made a second motion. Should we
I'd like
do?
to speak to the
Yeah.
matter.
Mhm.
There's a typo on one of them. It says on February 1st, PR meeting, it says the last weekend in September will be the fall creative meet and greet when it should have been Fitchburg Open Studios.
Audrey, will you make that edit in the file? Or do you want to send it to
Sure.
me? Thank you.
I'll add the document into our drive and update that
It's-
file.
It's in the drive. Well, it's already in the drive as a
Okay.
draft.
Okay.
Okay, so anyone else speaking to that motion? So we'll approve. Okay, so can we do a roll call quickly?
I just want to make sure, Eileen, you'll change your motion to allow that edit.
Okay, I move that we approve all the minutes that are up for approval with the exception of a change in the, what was that, the February 1st minutes, Audrey? Okay.
Yes, February 1st.
That Audrey will make.
And there's a second on that.
Second, Liz.
Oh, yes. Second.
Excellent. All right. Liz.
Oh,
Wonderful.
yes, sorry.
Claudia, that's okay.
Yes.
Audrey,
Yes.
Jesse,
Yes.
Shara,
Yes.
Eileen,
Yes,
Sam,
Yes.
Casey,
Yes.
Tamar,
Yes.
motion carries when it's approved.
And the last thing before we all go home is the next month's meeting. Do we want to go? What do we feel for meeting in person, staying on Zoom? I just want to get a temperature check on you guys and decide what to do. Or do we want to play it by ear?
Zoom is easy.
Yeah, I think Zoom is super accessible, and I think it's good to play it by ear just while we're still in this.
Okay, Zoom is definitely easy. It minimizes commute time for many of us. But okay, so
Actually, we have till like March 1st, like that's the extended order is we can continue meeting on Zoom, I think till April 1st.
okay. So do we
we'd like
want to
to
just
see us
say,
get back together at some point. You know, I would hate to see this be a forever Zoom meeting. Just a thought.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
okay. All right, so we'll plan on the March meeting being on Zoom. And if something changes, we'll make that adjustment later. Is that good? We already have the link for
Yeah.
the next meeting.
On sort of similar to that topic, how do FCC TV people feel about meeting in a couple weeks at the studio? We don't have any guests as of right now, but at the very least we could record a PSA, or I could do more outreach.
I'll come if you need me.
I think that sounds like a great idea. Again, play it by ear.
Yep.
Okay, so I will do outreach. Claudia, are you still with us for FCC TV?
When I can.
So the next one is Monday, February 28th. Casey, I think you want to attend a meeting that day, so you want to push it to start at 5:30?
Yeah, if that's possible.
Yeah, we just have to be out of there by 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And then Liz, I think you need to send a check to FATV to renew our membership for $75, which we voted on, but I don't know how that works.
I forgot.
I don't know
all
if
about
like
that.
the treasurer sends out a check or how
Or if
that-
they bill us.
Well, I yeah, I think it has to go through Joan. And I need to find out, like, if there's a membership, I might need an invoice from them. I'm not sure how that works, but I can follow up.
We can find out that from Nate. All right, that wasn't on the agenda, guys. So let's take a motion to conclude the meeting for today. Thank you all for being here. Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:05?
So moved.
Seconded.
Second.
We have a motion from Eileen to close the meeting. I couldn't see who, everyone threw their hands up. Everyone's done. Shara, Shara, I'll take that. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wait.
All have a good night.